this and do these. Okay. All right. All right. Bear with me for a second. Okay. I apologize for starting slightly late. My chat monitor up. It just recently, so, like while I was away last week, we were at my in-laws for, like Christmas and like exchanging presents and all that. And, I got, a copy of Cyberpunk 2077. So I've been playing that, and so I was playing that for a while, and then I ended up getting distracted by the fact that I needed to eat food before I streamed, and then by tweaking some pixel art that I was working on, which resulted in it being deemed good and having to throw it everywhere it needed to go. I'm realizing I missed a place. Give me a second. Give me a second. This is it's fine. But over the last week, I did play through and roll credits on the DLC. I didn't 100% the DLC. I haven't finished it. I don't know if I want to be honest. But I did play through Mega Dimension, and unfortunately, I will say, I did not really connect with it all that heavily. I think it's a frustrating grind of a gameplay loop. I quite liked the gameplay loop of like normal Legend ZA. You know, I liked going into the battle zones at night, collecting points. You could collect enough points in one night to go immediately into the next the next rank up match. Like, you could do all of that. And it was a very satisfying gameplay loop. But with Mega Dimensions, you have to go into a ton of the portals. And you have to spend as long as possible in each of them, pretty much, because to go into one, you have to use resources. And to get those resources, you have to go into one. So you need to be in them long enough to get the resources. You get the most resources if you 100% all of the tasks in the space, which is what gets you points. So there's 3 tasks per space. The most I've seen is maybe like 7,500 for a full set of 3 tasks. And for example, right now, like once you've rolled credits, the final, or the first post credits score that you need to reach, similar to how, you know, there's the like reaching rank E here, and you know, I needed to get points to get this ticket. The number of points that getting to the next beat of the post credits plot is 70,000. And the most I have seen from any space was like 7,500. And I know you can do rematches against past mega battles, but where they're harder. I'm sure that gives a lot more points. They explicitly state that it gives a lot of points, but I'm like, if that's only 10k or something like that, I still have to go into 7 of those before I can encounter whatever, you know, legendary is next or whatever in the post game thing. And I'm like, that's just really frustrating. I did not enjoy the grind of getting up to there, and it was weird because I didn't think I would dislike it as much as I do. You know, at first I was thinking, and a lot of people thought this, that it might be more like a More like a roguelite, but it's not. It's very much not. It is not Side Order. Side Order is a roguelite. This is not a roguelite. This is... oh, I found a spot that has a Pokemon I don't have or something. And then you go into it and with a donut, and that donut gives you like 3 minutes, 5 minutes or something, maybe some buffs. But like you're just there to complete your tasks, and then it warps you back, and then you go to the next one. I don't know. I think it was not a satisfying gameplay loop at all. And you know, I'm sounding very negative about it, but that's the thing is, I'm just negative about the gameplay loop of Mega Dimension. I actually really liked the plot. And it makes me sad that I dislike the gameplay loop so much, because I just wanted to see what came next. And to do that, I had to just bear the awful weight of the horrible gameplay loop. It's so funny. It's like, a lot of people are criticizing Metroid Prime 4 right now for having a really bland plot. You know, like they don't connect with its story. I didn't mind the story. I thought it was fine. There were some details that I was a little hard to follow what exactly happened. Like there's a point in the game where I thought my Viola was destroyed, and I was like, oh man, how am I gonna escape? And the answer was, on my Viola, it was fine. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's fine? I thought I saw it blow up in a cutscene. And I still don't know what happened there. But like, I think the plot was fine. A lot of people are really not connecting with it though. But the thing is, everyone who hates the plot of the game loves its mechanics. I feel like I have the reverse for that in Mega Dimension, where I loved the plot. I just could not connect with how it played in the slightest. It was rough. It's a bad time. This elevator's not working. Maybe it's not getting enough power. I bet a good blast from an extra shocking move would get it up and running. If only I had a Zaptastic Pokemon like Canari's Electros. Do I have any electric moves on my team? No. That's okay. Did any of my dead ones have one? No. Okay. That's fine. But no, it's fun. Or it's funny how Mega Dimension didn't connect with me in the slightest, but like, the plot again, very good. Very fun plot. I wouldn't just say it's serviceable, I would say it's on par with the rest of the writing in this game, and I think this whole game's story is really its greatest strength. I think its gameplay loop in the normal game is really solid. DLC, it's not. It's just not. Something is missing there. But yeah, that's kind of, those are my thoughts on it. Let's talk to Paragon. Funny how our paths keep crossing, ain't it? I forget what his voice was. You know, I was watching you in the Quiz Wiz contest, and I gotta say, you did great out there, kid. Oh, you were watching? If you can beat me in a battle, I'll tell you everything, so what do you say? Sure, I'll battle you. Let's do this in the garage. Let's get this Pokemon battle going. Hold on. Okay, I do have a good lead here at least. Well, an okay lead. Oh wait, yeah, that's right, I can Mega Evolve. I forgot about that. Skablam! Alright, dude. Your Diggersby is not gonna know what's coming to him. Oh, I don't even need to go into those stealth rocks. I can reach you from the outside. Excadrill, I need you to Mega Evolve. Let's show this kid what we're made of. Yeah, I would say Mega Dimension is my least favorite Pokemon post-game since the Delta episode in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I thought the Delta episode was awful until the end. Even Excadrill couldn't get past your defenses, eh? Alright, I expected nothing less from the Rising Star of the ZA Royale. You brought out the full potential of your Pokemon. It's not just Pokemon battles, you exceeded my expectations in the Canary Quizwiz contest, too. Clearly, you're a dedicated fan of Canary. As a trainer in the ZA Royale, and as Canary's grandpa, it was a joy to get to battle you. Which is why I feel the need to tell you a secret about my precious grandkid Canary. What secret? I've been using the latest holocaster to project a hologram of Canary. Then I synced it up with my movements using another newfangled app. That's right, the hologram of Canary you saw at the Canary Quizwiz contest. It was me. My grandkid's primary focus is her gaming. Fan interactions ain't a priority for her. But still, I want to show folks around the world how cool, smart, and talented my grandkid is. That's why I started pretending to be Canary using the holocaster. Though, soon enough, I started to really enjoy putting on a performance for folks. As thanks for a great battle, let me heal up your Pokemon for you. Yeah, Canary's right through there. Shrimpin'. Yes, another high score. Hey, sorry to all the folks who are just joining now after wrapping up the Quizwiz contest. I gotta hop off for a sec to deal with something. Hey, what's happened? Pop's caught me up already. You're the Quizwiz contest winner who asked for a promotion match against me, yeah? You've got spirit, that's for sure. But let's be real. I'd rather be streaming than battling you. Ah, wait. I bet you'll put me on blast if I don't battle you, huh? Fine, whatever, let's zap to it. Meet you in the garage. Too bad. Too bad for this. Be careful, Canary. This kid's a tough one. Careful? That's rich coming from you, Pops. Are you being careful with your little Canary cosplay? Anyway, film this match for me. I might put it up on my stream later. Leave it to me. I'll rally the cheer squad and take care of filming too. With us cheering you on, you're gonna be charged up and ready to win. Let's go, Dynamo. Alright, you really want to do this? Yeah, I'm gonna win. Sure, whatever, let's just get this over with. You better not underestimate me. I'm rank F in the ZA Royale for a reason, you know. It's not that I hate battling. I just love games more than literally anything else. Still, I'd be super amped to reach rank A and really blow up online. Then Dynamo could host video game tournaments for folks in Lumios to enjoy. This is my first Pokemon battle in a while, so I'm going to show my Dynamo fans what I'm made of. Don't worry, I'll win quickly. Let's go Dynamo! Hello, Canary. Yo, Truth is doing some numbers here. Wow. I could use something different. Oh. Didn't do that anyways. Electro! Alright, you go. I'm charged up on energy drinks. Time to charge you up with Mega Evolution, Electros. Let's go! I do really like this Mega. This Mega's awesome. Look at that. Anyways, let's one-shot it. Wow. I don't even think I'm at the level they recommend for this fight. Wait, let me just check that. And I just one-shot everything. Recommended levels. 37. 37. And it was quite simple, quite easy. That's fine. You thrashed my whole team, even Electros? Your victory is confirmed. Congratulations. Now processing your promotion. Rank E, finally. Finally, I took 3 streams to get here because of all those deaths. I'm just gonna let her speak for herself here. Aw, Canary, I hate seeing you like this. This only happened because you lost first. You're absolutely right. Tell you what, as an apology, I'll buy you anything you want, deal? Really? Okay, I forgive you. Maybe. I kind of blow a fuse when I lose. Can cope with messing up on stream since everyone in the chat cheers me on, but maybe I should put more effort into Pokemon battling from now on. That one was pretty fun. Anyway, here, this is for you. Take this too. Give it to the person who's been helping you out. You think I didn't realize? I know my fans well enough to know you're not one of them. Still, I wouldn't mind if you decided to become a fan. Might even make me just a little happy. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my game. Time to Thunder Wave goodbye. Canary is an interesting character. I will say, personally, I think, while she's very funny, I don't like Canary as a character. She's, oh, I mean, I like her as a character. I don't think I would like her as a person. You made it to rank E. That's awesome. I can't believe Canary made you do all that just for a promotion match. Kind of a pain, huh? Please don't call Canary a pain, Lita. Seems you don't fully comprehend how hard it is to be famous. Do show some empathy. Yeah, we get it. You're on the streamer girl side. I'm on Canary's side. Yes, she has a name. Once you become a famous dancer, I'm sure you'll come to understand. Wait, hold up, are you being supportive? So, tell me, what was Canary like off stream? Oh, she gave me something. What? She gave you a present for me? You. Thank you. I'll treasure this always. Oh my gosh. And now sincere thanks. Seriously, who are you and what have you done with Naveen? Let's just eat already. Even the son of your croissant curry is pleasing tonight, Urbane. You finally came around on it, huh? Want to try a bite? Absolutely not. The next day. Also, that was not in direct response to my trainer yawning. That was just that was brewing. I felt it coming. Morning. I hope today's a quiet one. There's been way too much going on in Lumios lately. Hey. Morning. Wait, where's Naveen? I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Wow, someone's full of energy. Were you up late sewing or something? I was watching Kanari's live stream. It was wonderful listening to her heap praise on her Mega Electros. She clearly loves it a lot. All in all, it sounded like she had a fun battle. Oh, that Electros was no match for our DB. She's the one who should be getting the praise heaped on her. Taking on Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon must have helped her grow even stronger as a trainer, huh? Beating Cannoli is no small feat. For the last time, her name is Kanari. But her Mega Electros truly is formidable. Perhaps she could use it to help us take on Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon. Question. How come nothing seems effective against Rogue Pokemon besides other Mega Evolved Pokemon or Plus moves? I'm afraid I have no satisfying answer for you. It may have something to do with Mega Power, which we know very little about, other than the role it plays in Rogue Mega Evolution. Even regular Mega Evolution is still largely a mystery to us. It's a bit dispiriting. Never mind, sorry, my bad for asking. Oh, it's Vinny. A job this early in the morning? I hope you don't expect us to be ready to go 24/7. Let me guess, you need us to take care of more Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon? Understood. Just send us the deets, please. Alright, I'm sure y'all heard the deal. Lita, mind leading us in a strategy meeting? Must we? So early in the morning? Come on, Naveen. At least try to muster some enthusiasm here. Remember, like Urbana always says, we've got to help out these Pokemon. I know. I'm well aware Rogue Mega Evolution is no picnic for the Pokemon. Or sorry, for the poor Pokemon. Alright, strategy room time. Alright, Team MZ is all present and accounted for. You ready to go ahead with the strategy meeting, DB? Time to strategize. I hereby declare this strategy meeting underway. We've got new intel from Vinny. Looks like Rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon are likely to appear in 3 spots. The first is in Sector 5 in the Vare District. We can expect to find a Beedrill there. The second is in Sector 3 of the Magenta District, where we'll find a Hawlucha. Finally, there's Sector 9 of the Jean District, where we'll face a Bayonet. Wait. That one in the Vare District is right near here, isn't it? Let me guess, you plan to use this as an opportunity to advertise the hotel? Or are you going to say this rogue Pokemon is the reason we've been getting so few guests? Come on, Naveen. If we're gonna do this anyway, we ought to give the hotel some good PR while we're at it. Alright? The sales pitch practically writes itself. Come on, get the finest view of Rogue Mega Evolution only at Hotel Z. I see. So we'd leave the Beedrill in its Rogue Mega Evolved state to use it as a draw. It's a bold plan, but I'm open to it. What do you say, DB? Let's ask AZ for his take. Thinking about it, I could probably design special merch with the Rogue Mega Beedrill as the motif. Oh, good call. We could even fill up a whole room with Beedrill stuff. Wow, I'm loving all these ideas. Okay, enough joking around, everyone. Wait, so you guys were just kidding? Yeah, none of that was serious. No, I mean, I knew that. Honestly, Lita, keep the meeting on track, would you? You're always letting us get distracted. That's not true. Anyway, down to business. Our first mission is handling the Rogue Mega Evolving Beedrill in Bear Sector 5. Urbane, you take that one. Second is stopping the Rogue Mega Evolving Hawlucha on a rooftop in Magenta Sector 3. I'll take that one. And third, we'll need to handle the Rogue Mega Evolving Bayonet in Jean Sector 9. Naveen, I'm counting on you to cover that location. There it is. Lita knows how to take charge if she needs to. I hope I don't get cursed from tangling with a bayonet. Don't worry about that. You'd be doing it a favor, after all. If it Rogue Mega Evolves, it'll suffer. I think we all know the real reason you're trying to avoid work here. It's nothing to do with nerves. Naveen, you ought to be more honest with your friends, and if you're scared, just admit it. Now, look, Lita, you went and got sidetracked again. Anyway, Pokemon are suffering out there, so it's time for Team MZ to go do our thing. DB, we're counting on you. You're our ace in the hole. That's right, go team. Let's take care of those Rogue Mega Evolving Pokemon. You know, Bayonet was originally a plush doll, and plush dolls are sewn. I certainly know my way around a needle and thread. It's gotta count for something. No, this one I get the jump. Oh, also, I do just want to mention something real quick. After this series, or possibly as an off-day series, I might be able to bring back Monster Hunter Wilds again, because supposedly its most recent update really optimizes the game heavily on both CPU and GPU, which should make it more amenable to streaming. Given that the last stream of that ended with it crashing, I'm going, nah, I don't want to work. So I might be able to bring that back, and if I can, that'll be fun to have as a series again. I have missed it. Now let's climb on up here. Dashing across the rooftops of Lumios must be second nature to you by now, right? Well, let me teach you a special technique that'll take your roof running to whole new places. It's called the Roto Glide. Go ahead and try gliding over to that rooftop across the way, why don't you? Looking good. Let me swing on over too. Alright, this should open up a lot of new places you can explore. It'll be handy for searching for Rogue Mega Evolving Pokemon around town. Speaking of which, speed drill is right over there. Let's go, DB, quick. Before I do that, I would like to stop by Quizartico, do a little Megastone shopping. I have shards. Yeah, because I can get X-Good right now. Yeah. While I'm here, I might as well grab another one of these. I do have a Heracross. I might as well grab the Heracronite. Never mind. I don't have enough for that. I was looking at it and I thought I saw 257, not 237. That's all. All right, I'll grab the one that I can. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I've been playing Cyberpunk, and I will say it didn't initially have me hooked. You know, I tend to, early in a console's lifespan, I do tend to get like a risk game, a game that I'm not sure that I'll like, a game that I'm not sure I'll connect with. On Switch 1, that was Skyrim, and it took me like 4 tries before it clicked with me, and it took the ultimate joke character for it too. But in Cyberpunk, I'd say it's clicking now. The point at which I wasn't clicking with it was like the initial tutorial. But at the end of the tutorial, it was really a solid thing. It took me like 4 hours to get to the title screen, which is like to the title card, which is crazy. But it was quite affecting. I literally, like, I woke up the next day and I was thinking about it still. Like, it's quite an effective start to the game. You know, I didn't really think a lot of things about the game until that point. Man, it's good. It's pretty good. I'm not super far, obviously. There's still a lot for me to do in the game, but no, I've been having a good time with it. My character is a bit of a joke character. I found that as fun as it is to design a character that looks like me, I don't always enjoy... I don't know, it's not as fun for me as playing as like a goofy character, like, typically. Oh, went the wrong way. This will be faster. Like, usually having a goofy character that can propel me forward. And my character for Cyberpunk is I'm calling him Cole Biden. He's based on an old thing I did, so sort of like, honestly, pretty early generative AI tools, like pretty early days stuff. There was the app Face App that got really big, and I used Joe Biden's like official presidential headshot and used the cool old filter, which gives you white hair and a beard. He already has white hair, so that was fine. It just gave him a beard. And then I used the long hair filter to give him long hair, and I was like, man, This is Joe Biden if he was cool. It was the cool Biden. Like a picture right here. So I made a character that honestly looks, if you were to shave him and change his hair, he does look a lot like Joe Biden. It's very funny. But in game he has the long hair and the beard to be cool Biden. Actually, I do have an acceptable screenshot of him. There's multiple screenshots, but I think this one you can really see, like, yeah, that's cool Biden right there. There's him on his motorcycle. I actually don't know if I have any copyrighted music in that, so I'm gonna actually not show that clip, and I'm gonna instead show this early screenshot of him. Yeah, that's cool Biden. I quite like him. I think it's especially funny that I came up with the character name and all that well before finding out that there is a stat in Cyberpunk called cool. So I'm gonna max that stat, and I am literally at level 19 cool. So I am almost maxed on that stat. Why do they keep coming? What are y'all doing? Okay, you can't get that. You can. Let's go up. But no, I've been having fun with that. I would say pretty fittingly, Cool Biden has a corpo start. True, I have okay, so you're level 40, so the lead actually is Pimon. So we'll swap that. It might be wiser for me to use Truth. Who I need to give the Mega Stone. Can't not do that. Let's go in. Hello, Beedrill. So that must be the Beedrill we heard about. Sure looks like it's on the verge of Rogue Mega Evolving. Poor thing must be in pain. The concentration of Mega Power in your vicinity is rising rapidly. Warning, Rogue Mega Evolution is imminent. Let's get going. Remember to watch how your opponent moves and figure out the best way to dodge its attacks. It's funny though, I don't think Cyberpunk on Switch 2 looks exactly what I would call pretty. But it is pretty remarkable seeing a game on a Switch that just looks like that. And I've been playing on quality mode. It's running at a pretty stable 30. I could be playing on performance mode. It doesn't change the resolution I'd be running at, but I've been enjoying just playing on. blasted. Go run! Go run! Go one. Mecha Ball! Not particularly easy for me to land hits while it's doing that. Alright, go run. Yeah, Beedrill has such low defense that this is a really easy fight. Beedrillite. If only I still had a Beedrill. Pimon did great! You know, here, I'll get everyone healed up. Pimon did not do anything in that fight. All good. Now go take care of the other rogue mega Pokemon. Actually, other rogue Pokemon. Hey there, I was watching what happened here from a ways away. What in the world was wrong with that Beedrill? It's called Rogue Mega Evolution. Been a lot of talk about Pokemon going crazy out of nowhere. Hard to believe it was all true. I've heard about this Rogue Mega Evolution thing. How's it been happening to these wild Pokemon? Nobody knows. Still a mystery, huh? You know, I wonder if it has something to do with all the wild Pokemon coming to Lumiose. All this weirdness started around the same time as the renovation work on Prism Tower, too. Quizartico wants Lumiose to be a city for both people and Pokemon, but it isn't as easy as that at all, is it? Still, I'll be sad if that's the last any of us sees of that feisty Beedrill. Hope it comes back soon now that it's calmed down. I sure wish we had more answers about Rogue Mega Evolution. You know, the surge of wild Pokemon isn't the only odd thing going on. Mega Crystals have been springing up more and more too. Wonder if it's all connected somehow. Oh well, no use racking my brain without more info to go on. No, I'll catch you later, okay? Flamethrower. I see a screw. Ow! Messed that up. I tried to hit it, but I like landed on the edge of that platform and then fell back off. Uh-oh. So next is Halucha. I do want to stop by Racine and see about upgrading one of my plushes. Yeah, because I have 17 screws. I have so many screws. Let's get my pink one upgraded. That one's a really useful one to have. Gold is useful, but it's less important, I think, for me. I think blue will be important. And let's do... red. I think red, pink, and blue were good focus ones. Okay, I'm gonna need to figure out how to get up there. That's not the end of the world. Okay, it's not out here. Oh, I found a bridge. So if I can find a way up this one, I can go up that. I'll talk to you. I want to find a path up. Flame thrower. I can get up this. Nice. I was like, I think I can just do this. Yep. Bonk. Yeah, I screwed that up. Shouldn't have rolled. The roll was detrimental. I do see that there's an item at the bottom of all this, but I am trying to go up. We are in Magenta Sector 6, which I should check and see if I haven't encountered it. apparently I have no encounters in Magenta yet. Huh. This to the fair ones. Did Autumnal Avenue. Which is in the border of Rouge and Magenta. Alright, let's put in a new row here. Alright, Magenta Sector 6. Where I currently am. Yeah, I have no Dedenne, right? Yeah, I don't. Okay, that's my encounter here, apparently. Oh, wow. Nice. Sure, I'll take it. You know? If anyone has any name suggestions for Dedenne, let me know. In the meantime, I am going to grab GIF. Dedenne is way down here. Yep, you're 702. Dedenne. Any name suggestions? I'm not seeing any. Alright. In that case, we shall be changing his name. I have to think of a good name. I've been trying to. Alright, I think I'm gonna name him, Limonade. Right, that should just be Limonade. Correct? Yep, Limonade. That's what I thought. Alright, that's his name. He is Limonade. Yeah. Oh, it is nighttime. there'd be something nice up here. Okay. I didn't want to miss me mega shards. Okay. See a possible point to cross over here, though I think this might be too far. So I'm gonna just try to get to that bridge. And this area is higher. That's what I thought it was from when I was down below. So I can do this. I want to break all these. It's addicting. I am definitively in Sector 3 now. Oh, okay. We are now level 40. So we're actually back to soup. I know items to get. Don't know. Flip turn. Oh, this is weird. Our intel for sure said there'd be a halucha up here. Wonder if it flew off somewhere. That would be a problem. Yeah, let me check in with Vinny. Excuse me, have either of you seen a halucha around here? Afraid we haven't. Oh, I suppose it could have flown off somewhere. Maybe it wandered into a wild zone. The halucha isn't my Pokemon, mind you, but come here now and then to give it some food. You mean you climb all the way up here just to feed a wild halucha? Sounds like you really cared about it. You must be pretty worried now that it's gone, huh? Yes. If you find it, please do let me know. You think the Halucha that lady's looking for is the one that's gonna Rogue Mega Evolve? Seems likely. Oh man. I want to think about how she'd feel if her dear Halucha went rogue. It's an update from Vinny. It looks like they're detecting Halucha nearby. Come on. I'm not going down to get that, because then I won't have an easy way back up. Oh, that's funny. I think this is where I came from. Yeah. Because I crossed over from there to here, and then did that whole loop getting all the shards that were here. So I've already cleaned it. Hello, Lucha. I probably should have swapped which mon I had. It's fine, I'll just switch when I get into the fight. We've got to help it for everyone's sake, but especially for that lady back there. I'm trying to think who my best option to handle this thing is. Oh, here, let me heal Soup up real quick, DB. Probably. I mean, I guess it's literally just my my Florges. Let's calm this Halucha down. I'll give it all I've got, because this encounters like literally my whole team, except Charizard. So it's like Florges with a backup Charizard, maybe, is my plan here. Wow. Oh yeah, can we get draining tests? Well, we are doing easy damage here. No! Just blasted him with an air slash. And down. That was another pretty easy one. I forgot I had Air Slash on my Charizards. It's just like, oh man, how am I gonna counter this Hawlucha? Air Slash. Some of these Pokemon that are Rogue Mega Evolving are really precious to people, huh? I hope Hawlucha gets to see that lady again. But anyway, great work calming it down, DB. Let me heal up Soup and everyone. Team MC has got to keep on saving these poor Pokemon from Rogue Mega Evolution for sure. Completed. What am I looking on shards? I have 603. I'm gonna stop at Quasartico before I do the next one. Stock up while I can. I did want to get Arachnite. Lucarionite could be useful because I think I do have a Riolu. Whenever, read this. Fletchinder. The Ember Pokemon. The hotter the flame sack on its belly, the faster it can fly, but it takes some time to get the fire going. Any others? I didn't have to. Dedenne. Dedenne, the antenna Pokemon. Its whiskers serve as antennas. By sending and receiving electrical waves, it can communicate with others over vast distances. Swirlix, the cotton candy Pokemon. To entangle and immobilize its opponents in battle, it extrudes white threads as sweet and sticky as cotton candy. Drillbur, the mole Pokemon. By spinning its body, it can dig straight through the ground at a speed of 30 miles per hour. Excadrill. More than 300 feet below the surface. The subterranean Pokemon. Wow. More than 300 feet below the surface, they build maze-like nests. Their activity can be destructive to subway tunnels. And Mega Excadrill. If this Pokemon brings its arms and head together to form a streamlined shape and spins at high speeds, it can destroy anything. A Mawile, the Deceiver Pokemon. Attached to its head is a huge set of jaws formed by its horns. Formed by horns. It can chew through iron beams. Carvana. They live in massive rivers that course through jungles. Swarms of these Pokemon attack any prey that wanders into their territory. Speaking of which, this is the Savage Pokemon. Sharpedo. The brutal Pokemon. It can swim at speeds of 75 miles per hour by jetting seawater through its body. It is the bandit of the sea. I always loved how its eyes are. They're really cool. Mega Sharpedo. The spines spouting from its head are transformed fangs. If they are injured or broken off, the spines will regenerate countless times. And again, why aren't they just there at all times? I feel like I've so rarely seen an animation where the teeth actually poke out. Like, you would think it would happen for the physical attack animation, but for that physical attack animation, no. So it's like, when do you see that? Charmeleon the Flame Pokemon. It lashes about with its tail to knock down its foe. It then tears up the fallen opponent with sharp claws. Charizard the Flame Pokemon. Its wings can carry this Pokemon close to an altitude of 4,600 feet. It blows out fire at very high temperatures. Mega Charizard X. The overwhelming power that fills its entire body causes it to turn black and creates intense blue flames. Mega Charizard Y. Its bond with its trainer is the source of its power. It boasts speed and maneuverability greater than that of a jet. I love Mega Charizard Y. This is so cool. X is just not it for me. This is just so cool, and you got like the flame on the tail is just so huge. Like, it's pretty big on X, but I think it's larger on Y for sure. Anyways. Quilladin, the spiny armor Pokemon. They strengthen their lower bodies by running into one another. They are very kind and don't start fights. Quilladin, you are an underrated Pokemon design. You're such a friend. Chestnut, the spiny armor Pokemon. Its tackle is forceful enough to flip a 50-ton tank. It shields its allies from danger with its own body. This is just such a cool design, because, like, its whole, like, shell situation is just, like, the armor it had before evolving. At least thematically. Like, it's not identical to it, but, like, it's a clear progression that, like, the helmet becomes the armor, becomes the armor. He also gives, like, Glyptodont vibes, and I love that. And then it's Mega. This is so cool. This is such a good Mega. Mega Chestnut. It has fortified armor and will defend at all costs. And a will to defend at all costs. Both are absurdly strong. Alright, let's go to the Mega Evolution Pokedex. I just got Mega Heracross. It's a single horn Pokemon. It can grip things with its 2 horns and lift 500 times its own body weight. I do like this. This really embodies the fact that it has Skill Link. Alright. Carrying on. break this. And this. And this. Okay. I don't think I can enter that from below. There you are, DB. Something's not quite right here. We're at the spot where the spike of mega power is apparently coming from, but I haven't been able to find the bayonet we're after. Perhaps we should ask Vinny to check again. Behind you. It is indeed here, yes. I'm ready to handle it. Hi. I can do this. As a member of Team MZ, it is my duty to help rogue Pokémon. I need to focus. Mega Bayonet. That's right, he makes duplicates. Let's do Mega Absol. Gotcha. And we got a new Megastone. Banatite. Yeah. So you continue to successfully save Pokemon from the pain of rogue Mega Evolution. Not that I wish to downplay the difficulty or scale of the undertaking. After all, only with Mega Evolved Pokemon or Plus moves can you hope to stand up to rogue Mega Evolved Pokemon effectively. However, Zygarde cannot Mega Evolve. That means you will need to hone your skills as a trainer until you can support Zygarde, even with such a disadvantage. This is how you must help Zygarde attain the peace and order it wishes to bring about. I doubt that detective would be hunting me and Zygarde if she knew its intentions. I wonder why she finds me so suspicious. In any case, until we meet again, young trainers, I expect great things of you. That man is quite the commanding presence. Why is he dressed in those rags, I wonder? Oh, I'm sorry, I got distracted and forgot to heal your Pokemon. Now, I'd better head back to the hotel and take care of some things. Not simply in a hurry to get away from this creepy place, I assure you. I might as well spend the rest of the night in the battle zone before I go back to Hotel Z. Flipped her. Oh. I would love your card. Goodbye. I do like prizes. No! Couldn't sneak up on him. I would like to be able to get that sneak up one. I'm not particularly high on time. Yes! Okay. We got it. Goodbye. Oh, yeah, had a decent variety. Cool. Just in time. Not a lot, but I will take it. Okay, back to Hotel Z. You're really pulling your weight here. You're really pulling your weight out there, DB. Thanks. He kind of did leave the heavy lifting to you again, huh? That's just a natural consequence of someone proving themselves so thoroughly dependable. True that. And the job sure is getting done, but I wonder... is it really enough to just find and calm down Pokemon after they Rogue Mega Evolve? What do you mean? I'd rather we get at the actual root of the problem. Not that we can do that until we know what's causing Rogue Mega Evolution in the first place. I'm sure Quizartico is following whatever leads they have. If they were, you'd think Vinny would at least keep us in the loop. The fact that he hasn't told us anything probably means that they don't know for sure yet either. I bet they'd tell us anything they knew that could come in handy, even if it didn't directly relate to Rogue Mega Evolution. This is a promotion announcement for Trainer DB. The opponent for your next promotion match has been decided. You are to face Trainer Ivor, rank E. The trainer who wins will be promoted to rank D. Oh, it's that Ivor guy from the Fist of Justice. Ran into him by that wild zone in Rouge Plaza, remember? He runs a dojo that teaches karate or something. But he's probably killer with fighting types. I believe their dojo is near Jean Plaza. What a relief to know where they are and not have to track him down like we did with Canary. That was such a chore. That chore was a small price to pay for the privilege of meeting Canary. I don't recall there being any detective work. You simply used the information I had. So, DB, do you have a challenger's ticket already? Not yet. Alright, sounds like it's time to grind some more points in the ZA Royale then. A promotion match right after battling a bunch of rogue Pokemon? That's a lot. Be careful. I would love to reach rank B. However, I do have some stuff that I gotta start doing, and I think I did a decent chunk of progression here today. Yeah, only one encounter. It's a little shorter of a stream, but I'm pretty happy with this as a stopping point. I know that this reaching rank D is going to take a little while. So I think for now I am going to wrap up here. Look at Rotom. Let's get the squad in the shot there. But yeah. It's just to kind of wrap up, I do want to just talk about a few things coming up. So obviously, you know, we are currently looking at December 20th today. So the next stream will be Wednesday, the 24th. That will be my last stream until a little ways out. I don't think I'm going to stream the Saturday following Christmas, just to give myself a little bit of a holiday break. But Christmas Eve, I will be streaming. I'm not 100% sure what. I do remember way back when I did the like holiday theme shinies. I don't think I want to do that necessarily, but I could do maybe like holiday themed alternate palettes for mons that I've designed, like different fake mon and whatnot. I think that could be fun. Maybe some of those would be usable as like alternate palettes in game, whether it's the fake one project or something else. So I might do something with that. I don't know how much I got to speak about this because I finished it before the last stream, but I don't think I had finished it by the time that I streamed this last. I did beat Metroid Prime 4, and I spoke a little bit about it earlier today, but I do have a review of it on my backlogged, where I have given Metroid Prime 4 a much, not a much higher, a higher rating than I was expecting. I went in, you know, knowing that reviewers had often said it was like an 8 out of 10, and that a lot of reviews were kind of, I wouldn't say necessarily, actually, I would say mixed. Like, very much so mixed reviews. But like in a genuine way, where like a lot of people were saying there were some very high highs in this game, but the lows for them were low. But the highs were so high that they still were willing to give it like a 7 to an 8 out of 10 in most cases. You know, which is how it got its 80 Metacritic score. Having played it, oh no, you're good. Don't worry about it. Having played it, Metroid Prime 4 is actually my third favorite Metroid Prime game, which sounds bad because there are 4 if you think about it that way. But I've also played Hunters, I've also played Federation Force, and I don't think Federation Force is nearly as bad as people think it is. I think it came out at the wrong time. Kind of had like that Hey Pikmin effect, where fans of the series were just really wanting to see see that game come back, and it came like Federation Force dropped at a dead zone in Metroid, both in Metroid and Metroid Prime, and I think people were feeling that. And so then seeing this game that like takes the IP and takes it in this wildly different direction was kind of disappointing to a lot of fans of the series. but Prime 4, I think personally for me, was very good. And so it slots in above Federation Force and above Hunters for me. But not just that, also above Metroid Prime 1. Prime 1 is a phenomenal game. It is another 9 out of 10 game. Like, I think every Metroid Prime game that has come out as a Prime game is a 9 out of 10 game. Hands down. Genuinely. That is my opinion. They are all phenomenally crafted, beautiful experiences. You know, the storytelling in Prime 4 rubs some people the wrong way. The characters in Prime 4 rub some people the wrong way. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed the environmental storytelling and how well that was handled. I think most of the story is good. I think where it's most lacking is the story of, you know, what's currently happening. You know, not the story building, or like not the world building story and things like that, which I think is really good. And I think Metroid Prime is not known for its story. For the most part, like, Prime 1 doesn't have a story, really. It's like you land on the thing, and all of the story is built by the environmental world building and storytelling that way. But there's not really a progression, for the most part, in the world. Not that occurs while you're there in you know, these, like, interesting ways. So I think its story is weak, but I don't think it's weaker than One's. I think One's is genuinely weaker. But where One's succeeded was this beautiful environmental storytelling, this beautiful world building for Talon 4. And I think 4 knocks that out of the park. High five. It just, you know, by having more characters, I think it puts more emphasis on the now story, the stuff that's currently happening, and I think that's fair to criticize it when they, you know, they've added characters that really are meant to flesh out the now story and stuff like that. But I think the world building is still just as good. I think the environmental storytelling is just as good. It's just not. It doesn't stand on its own as much when you also have NPCs and you know, like, you're expecting character development and things like that. But I think for what it is, it's a very fun time. I really enjoyed my time with the game. I'm not someone who 100%s most Metroid Prime games, but I do try to 100% the scan logs, and I did. I 100%ed scans. The scan logs in the game are genuinely one of my favorite things about Metroid Prime. Every enemy has this detailed description, like what you might find in, like, an encyclopedia. You know, it puts the Pokedex to shame. And it's so cool how much detail goes into thinking about how does this creature function, what does it do, how does this plant function, what does it do, this machine, what is it, what does it do. All of that's fleshed out. And then not only that, but you can scan other things in the environment, not just the things that go into that log. And when you're scanning things in the environment, it uses that to build up some of the environmental storytelling. You can look at things and get an idea of what happens, but every aspect of the world is so thought out, and you can read about it. Like, you can read, like, a really common area that people really feel that is both the second zone that you go to, which is Volt Forge, and also the third zone you go to, full tilt at least, which is the Ice Belt. In Volt Forge, you're in a factory, and it just, you can use the scan logs to get this description of how every aspect of this factory works, how every piece of the assembly line works. It's all fully thought out and described, and you don't have to see the log to know how it works, because it's, at one point you turn on the forge, and when you turn on the generator to the Volt Forge, all of that machinery kicks up, and then you can go back through after you've scanned all of these things, and you can go, oh, that's the machine that does this, and you can watch it do it now. and you understand how it works, and so then you see it. There's puzzles that involve that, where it's like, oh, I need to be able to get out of this area. The elevator's not online yet. I have to power that, or I have to like turn that on from up above. How do I get above? Well, there's this, forge machinery working. Okay, is there any forge machinery I can use? Maybe the thing that checks to make sure the parts are correct. And so you get into a thing and it like picks you up and goes, yeah, you're round, you could be a wheel. And then you go, it like throws you and puts you where you're supposed to go. And then there's another one that checks to make sure that the wheel is correct. And it looks at you and it's like, no, you are wrong, and throws you in an area that you could scan for pieces that were bad, defective pieces. It's so remarkably well thought out and well crafted. It is awesome. Ice Belt, I am not going to spoil anything. That is one of the best areas in a Metroid Prime game ever made. Phenomenal stuff. Like, it's stuff that, it reveals some like small twists that I personally was able to pick up on from true environmental storytelling, like the design of certain things. I could kind of tell the way that twist was going to go. And then I could tell as I was scanning other things, not within the Ice Belt. And I was like, man, something interesting's going on here. And then I drew a connection between a couple different words that are in the game. And I was like, these words are similar. Like they're both, there's some similarities there. I can't say why, like what type of similarity, because that could be a spoiler. I could push someone to figure that out faster than they would normally. But no, you go and you can piece these things together, and then you get to the Ice Belt, and it can a lot more of it is revealed, a lot more of it is explained, and you start to see it and you start to understand a lot more. But the thing is, you can skip all of those scans and get to that point and have no clue and be like, what? When you get to the twist. But for me, it was like, oh, this is 100% what the twist is. And then I get to it and I'm like, oh my God, it is. And it's impactful in a different way. It wasn't surprising to me, but I was excited that I figured it out. I put all the pieces together. And I was so excited about that. But I was also excited by the fact that, it... Well, and I wasn't just excited. I was excited about that. But I was also like... Just like, damn. That's... Wow. Like, it's an impactful thing. And so I really liked that. And that, I think, is part of the story of the game. So it's like, from a narrative direction, I think that's part of it. And I don't think you can remove that aspect, that environmental storytelling and that world building from the narrative of the game in full. And if you do, Prime 1 has the worst narrative in any of the Prime games. Like, if you want to go by that, if you want to remove the environmental storytelling, the world building, Prime 1 doesn't have a narrative at all. Pretty much. Like, I mean, like, it has the barest bones thing, but it's like, for the most part, Prime 1 doesn't have a plot. If you look at Prime 4 and go, its plot is bad, well, you're not considering the world building and the storytelling that's environmentally presented. That's just my personal opinion on it, but no, I loved Metroid Prime 4. I don't think it's the best. My favorite is still Prime 2. I swear, if they remaster Prime 2, I will die. Like, I will actively lose my shit and die. I will, I love Prime 2 so much. It's such a cool world. It has an interesting story, and its mechanics are challenging and really cool. Anyways. So, like, if Prime 2 gets remastered, and then Prime 3, I think, is underrated. It also, I don't know, I think I liked Prime 3 a lot. I liked its characters. They're cheesy and fun, and it feels like an old action movie, old sci-fi action movie type deal. So I'm a big fan of Prime 3. I would love to see that also get remastered, but at the same time, I know that Prime 4 is meant to be the start of something new, and I'm scared that if Retro was to remaster 2, then it would take away from their ability to do Prime 5. It feels like that's the project they were gearing up to jump onto next. But no, I'm a big fan of Prime 4. I think that Prime 5, I would love to see that come soonish. Obviously, Prime 4 took a long time to develop because it was announced in 2017, and then it was delayed, and then it was restarted development in 2019, and then came out now. Realistically, I think Prime 4 was probably done before now, but they made the decision to, also work on the Switch 2 version of the game, and so that they could release that alongside the early Switch 2. So I feel like that, that a chunk of the time wasn't spent on developing Prime 4, but it did restart development, and development cycles do take a while. So like, I don't know, I would hope to see Prime 5 within 4 years. That would be awesome. This is not the era where you'll see Prime 2, like a year or two after Prime 1. Which granted was only doable because Prime 2 reused a bunch of assets from Prime 1. Prime 3 took a little longer and came out a little later, but I would love to see a Switch 2 exclusive Prime 5 within several years, and honestly, like, maybe Retro's already working on it. At the same time, after they took up development on Prime 4, they did Prime Remastered, and Prime Remastered was that was a 2022 release? 23? When did Prime Remastered come out? Actually, I have a laptop right here. I don't have to use my phone to do this. So yeah, it was early 2023, and I had to wait until March 2023. It was February 8th was the Shadow drop. And February 22nd, I had to wait 2 weeks, roughly, was the physical release. So it was February 2023, so that was, I know, their first project that they picked up to kind of help gear some of the new staff into what is Metroid Prime. So honestly, I feel like Prime 2 would be a really good one to do, like, kind of coinciding with Prime 5, where maybe they are cleared to like get more staff, get more people on, and in that process to get people in the Prime mindset for those new staff. I think Prime 2 Remastered would be a really good option. Realistically, it took maybe 3.5 years to develop Prime Remastered, maybe 3 years. And then it released, a year after that. Let me see. So they confirmed that it restarted January 2019. Okay. So yeah, about 4 years exactly from then. So let's say it took 3.5 years to develop or something. Realistically, I could see Prime 2 Remastered starting a little before Prime 4 coming out, and then maybe being out within a couple years, few years, and then Prime 5 to follow like a couple years later after that. But I don't know. No, I have not. I did see you shared a link, and I'll check them out. Um, but yeah, I did see you shared that. Um, but where are we at here? Yeah, I was expecting to give Prime 4 an 8 out of 10. Like I thought that would be where I would have been on it. But at the end, I was looking at it and I was like, can I? It was the same thing I experienced with Xenoblade Chronicles, where I was like, part of me wanted to give it a 9 out of 10 because it wasn't perfect to me. But doing that felt like a disservice. Like it was closer to a 10 than a 9. And that I would be rounding down egregiously to give it a 9 out of 10. And as a result, like I had to give it the 10. And that was the same way I was with Prime 4. I wanted to kind of go with the flow. Give it a 4 stars. Give it an 8 out of 10. And I just could not justify it to myself. Like when I clicked on 4 stars, it felt wrong. And I was like, I have to give it 4.5. Like I have to give this a 9 out of 10. This game is not an 8 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it immensely. The Digital Foundry guys, the one who primarily reviewed, I can't remember which of the Digital Foundry guys it was, really liked Prime 4, and I think he said it was his second favorite in the series, with Prime 1 being his favorite, which that was a surprising take, because I feel like Prime 4 being so high, despite being very similar to Prime 3, is just an interesting opinion. But the Digital Foundry guys, they were talking about it, and he said, I'm not a critic type reviewer. When I am giving my impressions of a game, it's how I felt when I played the game. That's what I'm talking about. And so with him and Prime 4, that was literally kind of where he was with it. It was, he had a great time. He had such a fun time. He loved that game. And that was what mattered to him. He wasn't sitting there trying to dig in and really look at how is this narrative, how is that. He just left with how he felt. And I think there's something very human about that. That's where a lot of my reviews stem from, is just how I felt when I finished it. And I do often put a little more thought into things, but I like my reviews to be how I felt, not what they could improve. When I'm reviewing a game or a movie, like, I don't know. And that's why some movies surprise me, and I'm like, man, I left this movie that was a great time. And it was a movie that I was not expecting to really click with me, Godzilla X Kong, the one that had Scar King in it. Completely didn't expect to enjoy that. I didn't like the other movies in that series, and I watched that and I'm like, this is just fun. This is a really fun movie. It's stupid. The plot's not amazing, but it's funny. It's fun. There's some slapstick to the fights, and I don't know. I just enjoyed it enough. That I was like, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. So it's know that that's kind of how I review things. Is I'm not sitting there trying to criticize. I'm sitting there with just, this is how I felt. So I also try to get my reviews done shortly after I beat something. Sometimes it takes me longer if I need to process it more, if I need to think about it more. But I usually try to do my reviews for movies or games shortly after I'm done, so that I can just give an accurate description of how I feel in that moment. And I felt really good at the end of Prime 4. But anyways, let me see what's going on in chat here. Oh, jeez. I did not. That's fun. I've never fully understood it. Let me just double check, make sure I have the correct understanding. Okay. Okay. So that's what I thought it was. Yeah, I just wanted to verify that I was getting the correct opinion of pro shipping. I think, personally, I am not really in either camp because I've never been a strong shipper. Like, there's a level to which, like, I'll be like, oh man, these characters have good chemistry. But I am such a, like, I don't know, I'm a really boring guy when I, like, watch or play things. I don't sit there and, like, ship people. And so, like, when people present their ships to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? What? Like, I don't know, because like, there's some people who, like, ship characters in this game. I'm like, I ship no one in Legends EA. there's no one I ship, and it's not that I'm against shipping. It's just like it doesn't jump out to me to pair characters together like that unless it's intended. But I think, like, you know, the idea of pro shipping, I think in some cases isn't necessarily bad. I think it becomes problematic when people are shipping, like, characters in illegal circumstances, which, I mean, even abusive ones, that's also illegal. But, like, I don't know, when, like, people are shipping, you know, like, things that are, like, really weird, like family, or, you know, children and adults, like, that's also weird. But when it's, like, an abusive dynamic, or things like that, it's like I don't care that much, because, like, in those cases it's like, you know, shipping isn't just I think this is a healthy thing. It's also like people going like, I think this is an interesting dynamic and an interesting ship. This character and this character, like, how would they interact? I think, you know, at some level some people are looking at it from that perspective, and I think that's fine. Like, if you're writing fan fiction where, you know, you have, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some off the wall characters from something. I mean, heck, let's look at, like, a canon relationship from Hazbin Hotel. You've got God, I can't remember anyone's fucking names. Angel, is that his name? The Spidery Doo guy, and, like, his boyfriend, so to speak. They have a very toxic and abusive relationship, and it's obviously intentionally described as such. But I think that when, you know, say that those two weren't together, and, you know, like, his, like, Angel's friend, like, boyfriend guy is, like, dating someone else, and they just know each other. You know, he just knows them. You know, if someone wanted to ship them and have that be the abusive relationship because, you know, someone else was not in it, like, I think there's a level to which, like, that could be just exploring story possibilities, exploring alternate universes, just exploring the fan fiction possibilities. It's not all that different to me than when, like, people write fan fiction where, like, someone is killed. You know, like, whereas, like, you're taking something, you're writing this not good scenario, this not good situation, and that's not something that you have to, like, you don't have to support an abusive thing to write about one, you know. And so I think that some pro shippers are just exploring things, just getting a feel for the world, how characters would react to certain things, and taking it in these edgy directions, these harsh directions. But it's like, you know, anytime someone writes a character that's in a negative situation, it's from that same perspective. And I think that fan fiction is just a really appealing way for people to write things, because you don't have to do the world building. The world's built. You're just writing within it. So it's like a way to explore creative writing without having to come up with your own world. And so, like, to introduce these, like, abusive relationships and things like that, I don't think is inherently evil. I don't think it's an inherently bad thing. It's one thing if you start to endorse it. If you're, say someone's like shipping, I don't know, a character that's like an obvious child and an adult, and they're doing it from a perspective of like, no, I think it's fine because it's fictional, and not a perspective of, I wanted to write a heavy story that's like, this is wrong, and I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to tell a story that's not pleasant, and I just wanted to use characters from this existing world because it was really easy, because they're already defined characters that define character traits in this world that has rules that are defined. I think that is acceptable, and I think some creators are probably upset when that happens. I think that's just an inevitability with fan fiction and headcanon, is that if a creator values their vision for something very strongly, fans don't always respect it. Fans will build things that the creators are just not comfortable with or not happy with, and that's gonna happen. But I don't know. So it's like, I don't think it's inherently evil. I don't know what the situation with this specific one is, like what the storyboard artist was shipping, and in what ways it was abusive, or illegal in concept. But again, it's like, it depends on why they're writing it. Is it to explore something darker and not endorse it, or is it because they desire to see that type of content and that type of shipping in the world, that type of headcanon in the world? What is the direction that they're approaching this from? I think anti-shipping is a little bit Puritan in some cases, like the people who are, because they're not against the idea of shipping characters, but they're specifically against pro-shipping, like people who are shipping in extremes, and I think that the names are a bit funny, because pro-shipping and anti-shipping, it sounds like they're talking about shipping itself, not the type of shipping. I think the names could be a bit better. I think neither group has marketed themselves adequately. But like the people who are pro shippers, I think for the most part, it's like, it can be something that makes people uneasy. I think it's problematic if you're like drawing art of it. If you're like, say if someone's like a Rule 34 artist and they're using pro shipping guides, basically, like they're like, oh, this is a clearly illegal relationship, like this is so messed up, and I'm doing this to give people like sexual gratification, I'm making this art for that purpose, that I can understand more discomfort with. If it's just someone going like, this is like a really like, I don't know, a heavy topic, and I want to address it through this, and I think it's like, I don't know, it depends for sure. I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I think it's such a minor thing, because it's like, because at the end of the day, it's not real. It doesn't hurt anyone, but the issue is that it can normalize things that could hurt people, if it's an endorsed thing, if it's a good thing. But I don't think it's necessarily fair to criticize someone for just creating content in those types of spaces. It would be like going like, oh my god, you made a movie where someone is a serial killer and it follows them, like they're the protagonist of the movie, the plot follows the serial killer. How could you do that? You're a horrible person. It's like, I don't think that's the case. I think they're just exploring something dark with this character they found interesting, and so I feel like there's a level to which like that is probably some pro shippers experiences, is like that they thought it would be interesting, and they're not out here trying to like say, hey, this is a good thing people should do IRL, but they're like, just exploring things that are unsettling or uneasy and whatnot. And I think, those can be handled good and bad, but like I don't think it's the end of the world at the very least that because it is fake. It's more concerning if they're out there like endorsing what they're depicting and going, no, this is a good thing. I think more things should be like this. I think more people should be like if it was like that, I'm like, okay, all right, you're weird for that, but if it's just someone writing something and going like, man, this is a messed up thing and I wanted to write about it, then I'm like, okay, I can see that. I can understand that. And again, sometimes people execute it poorly. Sometimes people execute it well. Cool. I gotta check that out. But because I remember when the same thing happened with Cuties. When that came out on Netflix, and that movie, it depicts a lot of really messed up stuff. And I think the biggest problem with the movie is that it is real children enacting these things, like reenacting this stuff that the reason the original book was written was because someone the author had like gone through it personally, and wanted to write a story about it, to not just be like, to not be nonfiction about it, because that can be really triggering for someone with trauma, but like to write a story about that and be like, this is a horrible thing, and also to be like, this is a real thing, this is a real thing, I went through this. And then when the movie was made, I think the problem is that they used actual kids to do this stuff, and maybe there's a level to which like certain things were edited in certain ways to make it appear like they were doing more stuff in front of it else, but like there's a level of discomfort that comes from the fact that they are to depict it fakely, you have to kind of do it IRL, which is gross. So it's like, I think the movie really flubbed that message by the fact that it had to make that message presented in a movie form with live action and live actors. You have to literally have kids like doing these like sensual dancing and things like that. So it's like, it becomes messed up to make, but the concept of the movie is not messed up. The concept of the book is not messed up. If the movie had been done where it was like animated and the characters were all voiced by like adults, or something, like I wouldn't give any shits about it. At that point I'd be like, yeah, it's weird, I don't want to watch that movie, but like I get the artistic meaning. The artistic meaning was diluted by doing it IRL. But I think people often look at things and go, it depicts a thing that is bad, and that makes it bad. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's the case. I think, it depends a lot on like the intention behind what you're making, the way you make it, and the message you're aiming people to take away from it. But sometimes it is just like, it's just messed up, and like sometimes it is someone's just messed up. But I remember hearing people just going like so crazy about the existence of Cuties, and I looked it up because I was like, what is this? Like, I don't even know what this movie is. So I like looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's an adaptation of a book about a like that was written by a woman who like went through this or something like that. And I was like, wow. So wait, people are mad that it shows the thing that she went through IRL? Like, people are mad that she's like, I went through this and it's a horrible thing, and they made a movie about it because, there are some people who aren't going to ever read that book. And so they made a movie. And then people were mad that the movie existed because it just depicted it. And it's like, no, the movie is also saying it's bad. But the issue with the movie is that it's also kind of doing it to make it so that it can say that it's bad. They flubbed that. I will agree with that 100%, but it's like, it's an example of, I think sometimes people can be a little too Puritan with things. I love the movie Fight Club. Fight Club is not, there's no good person in Fight Club. There's Fight Club is a movie where the protagonist is a terrorist and an insane like, you know, men's rights activist type level guy. And it's really messed up. It's a genuinely messed up plot, but it's like this beautiful movie that's meant to speak against that. And like same with the book, because it's based on a book. And you're supposed to feel that this character is a villain and that you're following a villain story. You're following someone who's not good. But you also kind of root for them because they are the protagonist. And I think that's a good thing in some art. But then, you know, people will take, so some people will look at it and just go, it depicts a bad thing and I don't like that. And they'll leave it at that. I know people who've said that about certain anime, about certain movies, where it's just, it showed something that was bad and they were like, I don't like it at all. And it's like, that's fair. That's fair. And I think there's, you know, some cases where, like, you know, anime has certain tropes that show up and it's like, yeah, it's a bad thing, but they're using it in a way that's meant to be, like, they are saying it's a bad thing, but they're using it in a way that it's, like, exciting that you're seeing this. Oh my God, wow, this is happening. And it's like, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Like, you know, all of the scenes where, like, there's, like, a girl being, like, you know, groped or assaulted or something in an anime, and, you know, it's presented in this, like, enticing, exciting way to the viewer because the audience is boys, they're gonna love it. And it's like, that is wrong, and I don't like when things do that. I don't like when things do that. In fact, there's a character in JoJo's. JoJo doesn't have a lot of this stuff, but in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, Joseph does this, where he doesn't assault someone, but he spies on Lisa as she's bathing. And, you know, it became a meme. There's a meme of him after he looks through the keyhole going, nice, you know? And it's a funny meme, but it's like, it's... That episode, I didn't like his character at all. I'm like, dude, that's gross. What's wrong with you? And it's like, it's just presented like, oh, this is just he's just a guy being a guy. And I'm like, I don't like when that happens. I don't like when people do that. You know, you can portray something where the protagonist is doing something wrong and they're excited by it, but you are like, ooh, I don't like that. Like, that's uncomfortable. And, you know, you can straddle that line. It's a hard line to straddle, but you can. And I don't think all things do it. A lot of media just misses that point. And I think also a lot of people in the audience aren't media literate enough to see that point. And so then they'll get mad at it. They'll just get mad that it portrayed it. And I've heard a number of really interesting takes on it. I think FT Signifiers was, you know, his wasn't like a definitive thing, but he was talking about how it's like, it's difficult sometimes to weigh if a movie portraying something and intending for it to be portrayed as negative always works, because some people aren't media literate and they'll see it and they'll think that it was good and they'll become a defender of that thing that was wrong. You know, in that video, he talked a little bit about Attack on Titan, which he doesn't like the ending of. And I think that's fair. It's controversial for a reason. I took Attack on Titan as when I watched the anime, I took away from it this view that what, you know, Eren does is atrociously awful. Like, truly evil. Awful, awful stuff. Horrible. Eren Yeager is a horrible person by the end of the show, and does horrible things, and at the same time he does mean a lot to his friends. And so seeing that, I did find it to be an ending where I can see why people dislike it. I personally think that him being the protagonist and then becoming the villain is a beautiful arc. I guess spoilers a little bit for Attack on Titan. I think it's really cool. I think it's really interesting. Um, but I can see why people aren't comfortable with it, because it can feel like they are uh, being apologists for the concept of genocide, because it's like, oh well, Aaron only did that because everyone else in the world wanted to genocide his people, and so he genocided them first. And it's like, I get that defense, I get why you're making that defense, but it's not the same. It's not even. It's bad on both sides, and you can't say, well, you're justified if you're at risk of genocide to commit another genocide. I think that's a bad take, horrible take. But it's like it's a revenge narrative, and a lot of people latch on to revenge as an interesting plot, and then they just get so lost in it, and it's like, you should not have taken away the message that revenge was equivalent, that revenge was justified. And then, that's just like, I don't know, that's where I'm at with it. Like, it's like, I liked the ending. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was like chilling. It was a chilling ending to that story, and it was so bittersweet to see this character that you loved go so far, be so lost, and then do such horrible things, such that the only people who can stop him are his old friends. I think there is something very powerful about that, and I think that it was a beautiful ending. I was so, like, my stomach was in knots as I was watching the last couple episodes. Like, I would end every episode just like, oh my god, like, it was it was intense. The final season was really intense. But yeah, kind of going back to like the concept of like pro shipping and stuff, it's like, again, like, I think you can depict things that are horrible. You can. But I think it becomes a problem when you are portraying it, the way you're depicting it is so unclear in that even media literate people won't understand it. Or that when you're portraying it, you are just genuinely supporting. Like, if you were portraying it and people who aren't media literate are just misinterpreting it, that's one thing, and I can forgive that sin. But it's like, maybe try, like, it's difficult, because to appeal to the least media literate people, you have to make a story that has no depth. It has to be ass. It has to be horribly written, and then people will be like, oh, I get it. Like, people talk about things being ham-fisted, but like, if you don't ham-fist things, the general audience does not understand what you're trying to say, and will just get the complete wrong impression and be like, I think this movie was sexist, when it's like, it's trying to like make a feminist point. And then then that's how you get the MCU having that moment in Avengers Endgame where it's like, all the female characters are like, we're here to save the day, and it's like girl power and stuff like that. It's like, it's so overt and in your face, and it's like cringe if you have like it's cringe if you're either media literate or if you disagree with that stance. And so then you just create something that some people will see and be like, wow, you're right, girls do have power. But the people who are opposed to it and aren't media literate will just be like, that's disgusting, girls have power. And then someone who's media literate will be like, why did you have to say it like that? Now all the people who hate this concept have more stuff to latch onto, and it's like, it's just that if you want the lowest common denominator to understand it, you are going to be making the worst possible media. I'm sorry, it's gonna be so bad. But no, so yeah, like with pro shippers, again, it's like, there's some cases I can see it, and I don't think that anything in art should be fully taboo. I don't think that there should ever be a case in any art form where someone can never depict something. Ever. Like, I don't think that should ever happen. I think there should always be room for art to explore things that make people uncomfortable, that things that are taboo, things that are gross. I just worry it becomes a problem when you portray it in a way that is good or exciting or enticing. You know, if it's a serial killer in a novel and you feel your blood pump, you're so excited to see the next kill, like, that's like, okay, that's a little much. It's a little much. I don't think that should be how people should be feeling when you're following a serial killer or something, as the narrative goes. That's kind of where I'm at with all that. Is like, you should try to straddle on. You should try to find balance in it. And I don't think that the average pro shipper does that. I don't think that the average fan writer, fanfic writer, or, fan artist, or, headcanon guru is capable of that. So there's going to be a ton of stuff that is just going to be gross. There's going to be pro shippers, you're going to see their stuff and you're like, that's gross. And it's just going to be gross. And there's not going to be more to it. It's not going to have a good message. It's not going to have anything important or have a value. But I don't think that means we should write off the idea of it entirely. I think that, again, like, there's cases where you can write that story. Maybe it helps someone work through trauma. Maybe someone was like, beaten by their father. And so then they took a character in a show that they watch, and then they wrote a fan fiction where the father is beating the child. And maybe that, that doesn't happen in the show, but they depict it in their fan fiction because it's helping them work through trauma. There's so many reasons people can be doing things like that. Or maybe there's like a pro shipper and they're writing about these two characters where it is like an abusive dynamic, where it's like the husband's beating the wife or something, and maybe they went through that, or maybe they saw that as a kid and their parents went through that, and they're processing that trauma through their fan fiction. So it's like, I don't think we should be so quick to write off people who pro ship. I think the issue, though, is when someone identifies strongly with pro shipping and they're like, I'm a pro shipper. Like, that's cringe. But I think there's something to be said about people being free to explore taboo things and things that are messed up in their art. I think there's something to be said about that. I think that should exist. I think that has a right to exist. But I think that most people who identify strongly with it, it's not good. It's not good. The people who identify strongly with pro shipping, it sounds like they desire that taboo stuff. I think people who pro ship without that identity are unproblematic for the most part, because they're not identifying strongly with it. They're not even aware that it's a concept necessarily. Maybe they're just processing their trauma. Maybe they're just writing something that feels wrong because they thought it was interesting. Danny Elfman of Oingo Boingo, of a lot of movie scores, and of Nightmare Before Christmas. He was the voice for the singing for Jack Skellington. Wrote the song I Like Little Girls. Don't clip that. That is a song that Oingo Boingo made, and it's horrible. It's horrible, but it's presented in such a positive way, but the video is so creepy. And the singer is this vile person. Like, they describe these horrible things. They're so excited and enticed by children, and you're like, this is awful, this is disgusting. And you could so easily just write it off and be like, Danny Elfman likes kids. And it's not necessarily that that's the case. Maybe, and this is something he's talked about, when he was writing Oingo Boingo music, he didn't write it from his own perspective. most of his writing would come down to he thought of an interesting character and wrote a song for them. And so that was a song written for a character that is meant to exemplify something gross. And actually, the first music he wrote that he realized he was writing as himself really was Jack Skellington in The Nightmare Before Christmas. He wrote the song, he wrote all of the music for it, but he sang the song as Jack about how, you know, there's something deep inside of these bones, like is yearning for something new, and like Halloween isn't for him anymore, even though he's the Halloween guy. And that was him, and he realized that he was writing about wanting to no longer be an Oingo Boingo, no longer wanting to perform and tour, and instead wanting to switch to writing music for cinema. And it's actually, like, understanding that makes that movie so much more beautiful, because you hear all of Jack's songs where he wants to branch out, and you can see that, like, he was unsure that he was doing a good job. You can see that in the way the songs progress. It's a beautiful thing. But, like, you know, before that movie, he was writing as characters for the most part, and he'd write these lyrics that were sometimes messed up and gross, and it was never that he was endorsing those things. It was just that he was writing a gross character. And I think that, you know, people who pro ship, that can be the case, that they're just writing a gross character, they're just writing a gross dynamic, they're just writing something wrong, and for whatever reason, but they're not doing it to endorse it necessarily. I think it can be overly judicial and overly prude to say that just the presence of that is inherently wrong. I don't know. That's a lot of nuance, and I the fact that it took me like 30 minutes to describe all that, I'm sure, you know, I completely understand if someone like looks at that and goes like, whoa, are you a pro shipper? And the answer is no. I am not a shipper in the first place. Like, I ship a couple characters. As a kid, I shipped more. When I was watching Legend of Korra, I shipped Korra and Bolin. The Bora ship. I was big on that. I don't know. I thought they had such a good chemistry, and I wanted to see them get together. And that was obviously the point, was that they wanted you to want them to, but they didn't, and that was fine. Like, but it was like I was shipping there. You know, I tend to ship in those sorts of cases, and especially as a kid I did. But for the most part, I don't ship. I don't care. I'm personally very much behind the idea that art should be defined by the artist, not the viewer. I think that art that is made with no intention from the artist, but for all of the intention and all of the thought about what it means to be from the person seeing it, I think that is wrong. Or not wrong. I think that's a sign of a weak artist. You know, if you're just putting something out there with no meaning behind it in the hopes that someone else finds meaning in it, you have no conviction as an artist. And I don't think that every artist has to have conviction, but I don't think you can be in the high art sphere, you know, without conviction. I don't think you deserve that place without conviction. I think that there's other types of art that you better would be suited for. You know, things that are productive art, things that are functional art, like concept artists. You know, people who design things for movies and shows and games. Those types of artists are very functional. They don't necessarily have to have this this meaning to every piece that they draw or every model that they make. But an artist who wants to have their art in a museum, an artist who wants to sell art at these fancy galleries, I think you should have conviction, and I think that you are weak. you lack conviction if you are expecting the crowd to impart all meaning on your art. So that's kind of where I am personally. That's my opinion on things. So I think that if you want people to ship things, I think you should put it into your media. I think you should put it into your show, into your fanfic, into your your comic, your game. I think you should depict it. I think you should show what you want people to experience, because I think you, as the artist, that is your job. It's part of the reason I don't like open world games a lot of the time, is it feels like they don't have an intended experience. And I think there's something interesting in that. But I think that lacking an intended experience is lacking a vision, is lacking the conviction to have people experience something. That's why I prefer a linear story 9 times out of 10. I prefer a world that's not so open in a game 9 times out of 10. And I think that is part of the reason I'm not huge on fan fictions or shipping or things like that. Is it's like, I don't want to have to do that headroom, or like I don't want to have to do that work to enjoy your media. You know, if you make a show and I have to ship the characters for you, no. I don't want to have to do that. And if you make a show where there's not supposed to be any romantic plot or anything like that, and you don't have any intention of characters getting together or stuff like that, I'm fine with that. I don't expect me to do that work for you. If you're not putting any love interests or romance into it, that's fine. Don't expect me to put it in for you. That's my take on it. So I'm not in that spirit at all. But yeah, I don't know. That is all for today's stream. So thank you so much if you joined me live or after the fact. Either way is cool with me, as long as you had some fun. That said, I'm gonna go do human things as humans do, and you probably should too. So thank you so much. Goodbye. I will be back with more Legends ZA eventually, but not next Saturday. I'll see you when I'm doing more. Goodbye.